Hello, it's the Dead Master back again to bring you another video. This time, I'll be doing another 3 scary true stories. Again, I know. I will start doing, categories, but not yet. Now let's start with our first story. The Drowning Game. I am 30 now, and I remember back when I was in high school in my final year, and the school was trying its hardest to make a good impression and possibly save it from closing down. You see, my high school wasn't the best, and year after year lots of troubling pupils and poor grades was taking its effect on the school. Literally, after my year ended, the school closed down for good, and the other pupils had to change schools, and the teacher of my school had to look for another job. The head officials of my high school tried one last thing to resurrect it by my final year. They tried making after-school clubs, and that's about it, but the after-school clubs were a little lame due to lack of funding to pay to make it more exciting. They tried doing art clubs and reading clubs, but not many people attended those type of clubs. The popular after-school club was the swimming club. A certain teacher would be chosen every Friday to look after us and make sure we would get to the swimming center safely. The center was also on its last knees, and I guess that's how my poor school managed to cheaply fund it. It wasn't the best swimming of places, as they didn't have much equipment for weak swimmers or those who couldn't swim, and the water wasn't that warm, but manageable. Only 10 people from my year, including me, attended the swimming classes, and whichever teacher was chosen to look after us, who then straight away gave us over to the swimming coach for 1 hour and a half, and we wouldn't see the teacher until a little bit later after our swimming classes were over. And to be honest, they didn't really care to watch us swim, as on Friday evening, in their heads they had better plans of what they would like to do instead, like drinking. And also, you can tell by now our teachers weren't very good. The 10 of us were the well-behaved out of our year, and no bullying really happened, and the swimming coach was really depressed. In the first couple of weeks attending these swimming classes, nothing really happened. All that our swimming coach did was sit around and said nothing, while all 10 of us would just mess about in the non-deep end of the pool, as we were all weak swimmers and didn't dare to go over to the deep end of the pool. It was alright in a way, because the 10 of us enjoyed each other's company, and we just lazed about the pool as our supposed swimming teacher was extremely depressed and sitting far away from us, thinking about something else. And our teacher, whoever was chosen by our school to look after us, were always glad to get rid of us for an hour and a half. The 10 of us became good friends, and the swimming club became our secret hangout, in a sense. And it was a good moment of my life. We would try and compete who could hold their breath the longest underwater, and we would see what swimming equipment they had so we could play with it in the swimming pool in the non-deep end. We started making up stories of our quiet swimming coach, that he may be some sick serial killer, and we would make jokes about him. We even further as to make jokes that he is a pedophile. In the sixth week of these swimming classes, our depressed swimming coach finally said something to us, which was, "Hey guys, how many here are strong swimmers?" He said to all 10 of us, and none of us put up our hands. He then went on to say, "Fantastic! That means you're all fresh and ready to learn. And the best way to learn swimming is through the drowning game," he told us with a smile, and we all looked at each other, as well as staring at him as he goes into some room which was unlocked, but he had the keys. I also want to add as well that the management of the swimming center was not very good, and the other employees were hardly ever around. As our swimming coach came out of the room, he wore some strange outfit with weird sticks, with animalistic heads on the top. It was ritualistic and voodoo-like. He told us all to get into the water as he came into the water wearing those weird overalls, and one of us had to go further and stand right next to the creepy swimming coach. We were all in the non-deep end, and Martin, who was to be the guinea pig for our swimming coach's example, told Martin he had to go underwater and hold his breath. Our swimming coach then started murmuring some strange words that even today I cannot fathom what he was saying, and waving the weird stick about, and then held Martin down as he started to struggle to breathe. As Martin's body was floating, we could see something shiny shaped like Martin floating away, and our coach told us to chase Martin's soul and bring it back to his body. And we all listened and dragged Martin's soul back to his body through the water, and he started wailing and screaming. "Well done. That's the drowning game. And you all swam through the deep end chasing Martin's soul," he told us, and we were all laughing at how cool this was, and Martin started laughing as well. We all tried the drowning game one by one, and our head coach always doing his weird spells. When I gave it a go, and my spirit wandered off as my body floated in the water, it felt like I was flying, and I was in another dimension, and could see everything. It felt good. The drowning game made us better swimmers. And then our coach wanted to go at drowning, as he missed the feeling of drowning, and the soul floated away in the water. He wrote on a piece of paper what he says, and they chose me to do the ritual on our swimming coach. And I don't have that piece of paper anymore, as I can't remember what it said and the words he said, but I was wearing his ritualistic clothing and held his weird sticks. I followed everything as commanded on the piece of paper, and as our coach was drowned and my class started swimming after his soul, and they then saw a demonic-like creature grabbing onto his soul. They all tried to grab his soul and hold on to him and pull him out and put it back into his body until they were all taken underwater, and as I stood there frightened, and I saw all of their souls wandering around the water, but their bodies were nowhere to be seen. Those same creatures took their souls. I never did play the drowning game ever again, nor ever go to the swimming pools. And I guess there's always some danger to a game which my coach failed to know. The center closed down, and so did our school. My grandfather's death. I'm 21 years old. I am a 21-year-old male living in Romania, and the story happened when I was about 13. Me and my family got ready to sleep, and for some reason, I had to sleep in my parents' room. After a few hours of sleeping, I woke up by the sound of a phone. My father picked up, and it was his brother, who told him that their father had an infraction, and in the morning they were at the hospital. They are 4 brothers. By that time, one of my uncle haven't seen his parents for a pretty long time. We'll call him Lucas. 3 of my uncles were already at the hospital, except for my uncle Lucas. By the time he got there, my grandfather already passed away. Fast forward 3 days. Everyone from the family were at the country where my grandparents lived. It's a pretty small village with about 2,000 people. They were preparing the tables and food for people who knew my grandfather to come. I guess it's called alms in English. After a while, my Uncle Lucas got a phone call with the text, "Mom," which is my grandparents' telephone. He picks up. "Hello?" Nothing on the other end, just some random noise. Then he asks, "Is someone in the house?" I went to check and there was no one. My guess is that it was my grandfather who missed him and wanted to talk to him one last time. However, this is not where the story ends. In the same day, my mom was working a lot and she got tired. She went to the house to relax for a few minutes. Then suddenly she felt like she was strangled by someone, but no one was there. She started suffocating. When my aunt, Lucas' wife, came in and asked my mom what's wrong, the strangling stopped. She thinks that was my grandfather, and he strangled her because she stopped working at his alms. Sorry about my English, I hope you understand. And if you are a narrator, please give me the video's link. Sure will. Crunched up paper house. My friends and I always used to walk through a wonderful, spacious park when we were younger. It was full of tall trees and it was very nicely maintained. In this large park, there was an abandoned mansion. I can't really say how long it had been there, but on that day, the front door of the mansion was wide open. The 2 of us decided to check out what was inside the place. As we inched through the door, the very first thing we noticed was that the mansion's floor was littered with crumpled up pieces of paper. We looked at each other and observed that there was no furniture, nothing except for those wrinkled balls of paper. The mansion had 6 rooms on its main floor, and every room was entered bore more and more scrunched up pieces of paper. We decided to open up one of the paper balls to see what was inside. Our curiosity got the better of us. I picked up a single wrinkled piece, and as my friend picked up another, I unfolded my paper, smoothing out its bends and dents. At that moment, it was almost as if a piece of a rainbow emerged before our eyes, and I was suddenly standing next to a large window in one of the upstairs rooms of the house. It was looking outside into the large park. When I looked down at the piece of paper I held, it read, "Look outside the large window that oversees the park and the upstairs parlor." I dropped the piece of paper and it fluttered gracefully to the ground. Meanwhile, I stared at my open hands in about a daze, in a bout of horror. Dazed and utterly perplexed, I found my way downstairs and met up with my friends. He was in the kitchen sitting at a round table that hadn't been there before. "Where did that come from?" I wondered.